Hello everyone, I will share real stories that I know and I'm sure you will like them.
The delivery guy never asked for money again because after what happened in my foyer that night, he knew exactly what I owed him. My name is Marla. I'm 48 years old and I've been married to Doug for 22 of them. We live in a quiet, brick colonial on the edge of town where the mail still comes by foot and our neighbors wave whether they know you or not. To most people, we probably look like the couple who figured it out. Two grown kids, one off to college and one too cool for dinner. We host backyard barbecues, keep the lawn trimmed, and I still bake cookies for the holidays. But inside that house? I couldn't tell you the last time Doug touched my waist without needing to get past me. We share a bed, yes, but mostly it's two people who learned how not to bother each other. He's not cruel. Just quiet. Predictable. Always somewhere else even when he's right in front of me. Sometimes I'd watch his face in the glow of his laptop, thinking, does he even see me anymore? And when I asked him, once, do you think we're happy? He looked up from his emails and said, we're not unhappy, which felt worse somehow. So I filled the silence with to-do lists, online orders, errands. Small things to stay busy. That's how I started noticing him. The first time I saw the delivery guy, I was halfway through folding laundry in a robe that I shouldn't have still been wearing at 11 a.m. I opened the door expecting the usual bored teenager, but instead, there he was. Mid-30s, tall, dark hair that curled at the back of his neck, eyes like storm clouds over the lake. He held the box with one arm, like it weighed nothing. Got something for you, he said, and smiled. Not like a stranger. Like he already knew me. I must have looked startled because he added, don't worry, I get that look a lot. He handed me the box, light, just candles I'd ordered on sale, but my hand brushed his and something flickered. Thanks, I said, awkward. You always deliver in person? Only when I'm lucky, he said, then nodded toward the hallway behind me. Smells like vanilla in there. It's just detergent. He grinned. Still sweet. Then he left. Just like that. But something about the way he walked back down the driveway, glancing over his shoulder like he was giving me time to look, stuck with me. And maybe it should have ended there. But it didn't. After that, it felt like every other day I had a package arriving. Some I barely remembered ordering. A new throw pillow, a replacement garden hose, a tea kettle I didn't need. And each time, it was him. Always him. His name was Jesse. He told me that the second time, when he handed me a box marked fragile and asked if I was too. I laughed more than I meant to. Only on the inside. He raised an eyebrow. That's the important part. I started timing my mornings around when he might show up. Showered earlier, lingered near the front window under the pretense of cleaning. Once, I opened the door before he even knocked. Were you waiting for me? He asked, teasing. No, I lied. Barefoot on the tile. His eyes moved slowly, not in a way that made me feel exposed, but like he was taking me in piece by piece. Like I was something worth noticing. Doug never noticed when I got my hair done. Jesse noticed when I changed my nail color. You're observant, I said. He shrugged. You're worth observing. I didn't answer. But I didn't close the door right away either. That day, he lingered. Asked about the books on the entry table. Said his ex used to read the same ones, but never laughed the way I did when I talked. I told him laughter was the only thing that still came easy. He leaned against the doorway and looked at me like he could hear everything I wasn't saying. Then he asked, softly, do you ever get tired of being invisible in your own home? I felt that question like a punch. He didn't wait for an answer. He just handed me the box, let his fingers brush mine again, and walked away. That Friday, the storm rolled in around 4:30. Wind like ocean waves against the siding. I just finished setting the table. Doug texted he'd be late, again, when the bell rang. It was Jesse. Rain plastered his shirt to his skin, his curls dripping down his forehead. Didn't think you'd be home, he said. Didn't think you'd be out in this, I answered. He held out a box, shaking water off. Last one today. Thought I'd give it to someone who actually answers the door. I took it, but this time, he didn't let go. His fingers held mine a little too long. My pulse jumped. And then, he stepped inside. just past the threshold. Not a word. Just closed the door behind him, slow and quiet, while the rain beat harder outside. I should have told him to leave. I should have stepped back. But instead, I looked up at him and whispered, "You're soaked." He looked down at me, lips parted. I know. We stood there like that, 10 inches between us, every breath loaded. Then he reached up and tucked a wet strand of hair behind my ear. His knuckles grazed my cheek. "I don't want anything from you," he said. "Not unless you want it too." And I swear to God, I almost pulled him in. But before I could move, a sound shattered the moment. Doug's car pulling into the driveway. I jumped. Jesse stepped back. His voice dropped low. "Next time you open that door, Marla, know what you're opening it to." He left quietly. Doug never saw him. But I stood there for a long time, my hands still tingling from where Jesse's had been. And in the box? Just a single white rose. His scent was still on me when I set the table. And Doug still asked if I burned the chicken. The storm had passed by morning, but something inside me hadn't. I woke up before the sun, still in the dress I'd worn to greet Jesse. I don't even remember crawling into bed, but Doug was there beside me, snoring softly, phone charging on his side table like always. The rose was still in the box, hidden beneath a dish towel in the laundry room. I couldn't throw it out. I couldn't look at it either. When I stood at the kitchen sink, washing dishes that didn't need washing, I kept seeing Jesse, drenched, intense, close enough to kiss. My reflection in the window looked different that morning, like someone who'd nearly done something she couldn't take back. Doug came down late, glanced at his phone, then said, "Coffee," like it was the biggest offering he could make. I nodded. Quiet. When he handed it to me, our fingers touched and nothing. Just cold ceramic. Just a man handing his wife caffeine like it was part of the mortgage. I sat across from him at the kitchen table, heart racing for reasons he didn't notice. If he'd looked up for even a second, he might have seen it. But he didn't. And by the time Jesse came again, 2 days later, something inside me had already decided. He came at noon. I just finished vacuuming the upstairs hallway, pretending I was too busy to care. But when I heard the doorbell, I didn't walk, I ran. When I opened the door, Jesse's eyes swept over me. I wasn't in a robe this time. I'd picked out a blouse I hadn't worn since last Thanksgiving. "You look," he started, but didn't finish. "Come in," I said before he even offered the box. No hesitation. No casual flirtation this time. Just a mutual, electric silence as I shut the door behind him. We stood in the foyer again. Same spot as last time. "You sure?" he asked. I didn't answer. I just nodded. But we didn't touch. Not really. He stepped forward, close enough that I felt the heat off his skin. His voice was low, the kind that sinks into your chest. "I think about you, you know, more than I should." "I know," I whispered. "I do too." His hands didn't grab. They hovered, waiting. And I let mine settle gently on his chest. His heart thudded beneath my palm. We didn't kiss. We didn't even touch the way people would assume. But in that moment, his forehead resting against mine, our breaths mingling like secrets, I crossed a line I couldn't uncross. We weren't just playing anymore. He brushed a single finger down my wrist, and it felt like lightning. "You feel it too, don't you?" he asked. Yes. There were no clothes on the floor. No tangled limbs. But somehow, that felt more intimate. We were two people who'd let the world outside disappear. When he finally left, he didn't take the package with him. And I didn't open it. I just left it by the door like a mark. The unraveling began with a single sentence from Doug. "Who's Jesse?" It was a week later. Tuesday night. Chicken pot pie in the oven, wine chilling for no reason other than habit. I froze. What? Doug's eyes stayed on his phone. "There's a delivery guy listed on the door cam footage. Keeps showing up." I don't recognize him. I forced a laugh. "Must be the new guy." He looked up. "We've had 12 deliveries in the past month. You order a new life I don't know about." I shrugged. Maybe I just like packages. He didn't press. But his silence felt sharp. That night, he didn't come to bed. I found him asleep on the couch, phone in his hand. The next day, Jesse didn't come. Or the day after that. And by Friday, something was off. Doug poured himself a drink before dinner. He never drinks. Then he sat across from me and said, casually, saw something interesting on the camera footage. My heart dropped. He swirled the glass. You let him inside. I opened my mouth, closed it. I saw you, he said, flat. Standing too close. Talking too long. Smiling like you used to. I couldn't breathe. I began. Nothing happened. He nodded. That's the worst part, Marla. Because I don't think it had to. Then he stood up and said something I'll never forget. I know I've been gone, even when I was here. But at least I didn't invite someone else in to take my place. I stood too, desperate. Doug, wait. But he was already walking away. He didn't take anything. Didn't yell. He just left the house. Left the door open behind him. Doug didn't come home that night. Or the next. He didn't call. Didn't text. And when I went to bed alone, I saw something I hadn't noticed before, his wedding ring on the bathroom counter. Beside it, folded neatly, was a delivery receipt from Jesse. Dated the day before. He must have watched the footage. All of it. I don't know what's worse, that Doug found out, or that he didn't even fight. As for Jesse, I haven't seen him since. No more boxes. No more roses. Just silence. I keep thinking about what Jesse said, right before he stepped inside that last time. I don't want anything you don't want to. And the truth is, I did want it. I wanted to be seen. To be touched without being touched. To feel something again. But I never imagined what it would cost. Doug left the ring. I left everything else.